right, are you all ready to proceed?
Yes, Judge.
Court is calling 2020 CR 5322C, State of Texas versus Angela Gonzalez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar from the state of Texas.
Defense,
Larry Bloomquist for the defense.
are you Angela Gonzalez?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you what's entitled motion to revoke community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney?
Yes,
Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Angela Gonzalez who was placed on community supervision in 2020 CR 5322C for the offense of robbery on November 19, 2020 for a term of 5 years? Is that you?
Yes, sir.
State?
Violated condition number 1, on or about the 31st day of March 2022 in Bexar County, Texas. The defendant, Angela Gonzalez, committed the offense of assault in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
Your Honor, state waives all the violations.
Any objections to the waivers?
No, Your Honor.
All right, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 1, court could find it true, grant the motion, sentence you up to 5 years in prison and up to $1,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 1?
Yes,
Can't
we do.
hear.
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find violation of condition number 1 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
Yes, Judge, is to continue the defendant on probation, to add a no contact order with the victim in the assault case, to add in anger management and MRT, and she's also going to take a plea in the misdemeanor case to run concurrent with this one. And that's county court cause number, sorry, I had it in front of me. 709518.
All right, probation. Has she done anything on probation other than commit a new offense?
Yes, Your Honor. Her UAs for the last year at least have been negative. There's been a couple of diluted. She did finish the outpatient program. She completed her parenting class. And she did obtain her high school diploma.
All right, what is this assault about?
Judge, there was there's her boyfriend's daughter, who she is, her boyfriend's sister, who she is right now my client, her primary caretaker. She was involved in a fight at school, and my client, instead of breaking up the fight, she did punch that young lady. And I think that
So students are in a fight, she goes to the school and
there's some parents trying to break up the fight, and my client starts to try to break up the fight, but loses her cool and punches the young lady.
and when you say young lady, are we talking about a child?
I would guess, yes. I don't know her exact age. I think she's about 15 years of age.
Okay.
And what I would just tell the court, and if you want me, I can call my client as a witness.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, let's do that. Can you raise your?
Sure. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, you do.
You can lower your hand if you state your name for the record.
Angela Gonzalez.
All right. So what have you learned since you've been on probation?
Honestly, Judge, I learned a lot. I'm glad that you put me on probation the first time. I was able to get my diploma, and I actually got better jobs within the years that I've been on probation because of my diploma. Because of you, I'm able to see my other 2 kids that originally the kids' grandma wouldn't allow me to. We have a better bond. I get to see them every Sunday, and she lets me take them to the park, sit with them and be with them, birthdays, holidays. That's something that I didn't have before you put me on probation, and I really want to say I do appreciate that. Right now, I did learn a lot. Just me having to take care of my sister-in-law as well, it made me grow up a lot, just because my husband's mom suffers from seizures and strokes. So that put me on a higher level to where I need to be focused on my kids. It's not about anything else but my kids. I want them to have a better life than what I'm going through right now. They don't deserve they don't deserve for me to be here and then me missing out of their lives on all four of my kids. I just recently had a baby. He's 9 months. So I
And
mean,
who's with your baby now?
my sister's friend's mom, she's helping me babysit right now. So I mean, I just hope that you see that I did learn from this past years. I've been coming out clean again because of you, Judge. I stopped smoking. And it honestly, everything just bettered my life. And this was an honestly mistake. I did went to the school and I did talk to the principal.
Not a mistake. It was a choice, right?
A choice, my bad. I did talk to the principal. I tried to have a meeting with the other girl's mom. And like I said, at the time I was pregnant, it was a choice, not a mistake.
And let me just clarify that, Judge. Can I just ask you one question
No,
about that?
let me
Okay.
hear. Yes.
The school was just not taking that step to where she had to walk out of school campus to come home crying to us. We sent her back home thinking it was going to be the right thing, but turned out to be not the right thing. In my opinion, I should have just left her home and none of this would have happened. And I messed up. I honestly did. And I just hope that you could give me a second chance and let me prove you and everybody wrong.
And the point I wanted just to clarify for the judge is, Your Honor, she had actually reported that her daughter, or the girl who she considers her daughter, was being bullied after school by these several girls. And she had been reporting that to the school and they hadn't taken any action. And unfortunately, I think one thing I just tell the court is I've had extensive conversations with Angela. She's an extremely great person. She's made some bad decisions. And one of the things that I've been talking to her about is her need to make better decisions. And she's doing a lot of great things. Unfortunately, she had this horrible decision that she made that's put her in front of you. And I can tell the court, I feel like she's very, very remorseful for what's happened. I think she's realized that not only has she put herself in peril, but she's put the kids that she's caring for.
What steps have you taken with the school?
She longer doesn't go to that school. It was a middle school. I just enrolled her in Highlands High School.
Okay.
So, I mean, right now that school is out of I will never put my kids in that school just because they don't know how to take steps on how to protect their students.
All right, State.
So Judge, we were able to talk to the complainant in that case's family. It was very difficult getting a hold of them, but we were able to do that earlier this morning. I did explain what our options were. They did indicate that they were okay with this approach. I told them exactly what I was going to do. I don't know any of the claims of bullying. None of that came forward through the police reports or anything that we had available. So I can't substantiate that.
All right. So this is what the court is going to do. Court will deny the motion, alternate amend conditions, probation, either anger management or MRT, not both. So whichever one probation feels would fit best for her, that's the one we'll go with. All right, is there anything else you need from the court? Well, I mean, I'm asking her. I hope you don't need, do you need anything else from me, counsel?
No, I wanted to thank the court because I believe that she's going to do well. And I think that I just want to thank the court.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, based upon what probation is telling me, she is doing well. So you need to continue doing what you're doing. You understand?
Thank you so much.
Is there anything else you need from the court?
I promise you won't see me again.
All right, well, I can see you again if you completed everything and maybe you want to get off early. Yes.
Judge, I was just gonna ask for that no contact order.
All right, and who's the complainant? So no contact with the. So you're not to have any contact with that complainant, you understand?
Yes.
Only other thing, this is just a run concurrent with the misdemeanor case.
Yes.
All right,
And I'm going to make a scheduled judge to get plead on that as soon as possible.
all right, what is the cause number in that?
That's CC 709-518.
508?
518.
18. And state, we're off the record and state that you informed them downstairs what their plea should be?
So I did put a note in the system, exactly the details of the length of probation, what type of probation, the other conditions. I did say standard conditions, so they should know what to do.
All right, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Judge.
you so much. You have a
You,
great-
you too. And you're ready to proceed with the motion?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, the court is calling 2020 CR 2543 State of Texas versus Chase Gordon. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Travis Banks in the state of Texas.
Defense,
Assistant Public Defender for Mr. Gordon.
are you Chase Gordon?
Yes, ma'am.
Showing you what's entitled motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yeah, no.
Are you the same Chase Gordon who was placed on deferred adjudication in 2020 CR 2543 for the offense of robbery on December 15th, 2021 for a term of 5 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
State,
Violated condition number 2, on or about the 8th day of March, 2023 in Bear County, Texas. The defendant, Chase Gordon, did then and there fail to submit to drug testing as directed by the court officer, supervision officer, and or a duly authorized agent of the court in violation of condition number 2.
how do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
State,
The state will waive and abandon the further answers.
any objections?
No objection, Your Honor.
Did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 2, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 2? Court would find violation of condition number 2 true. Is there an agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. The agreement submitted to the court is that the motion be denied and that the defendant be continued on probation. However, the conditions should be altered and amended to include the dual diagnosis residential facility. And in consideration of that plea, the state is making a motion to reject house number or night mag number 718-075.
718.
075. Your Honor.
All right. Are you asking the court to follow that agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
Yes, ma'am.
Probation, is this your recommendation? To have him referred to DDRF?
Your Honor, it appears that his mental health issues were not addressed. The recommendation from the management was for revocation. However, looking over the case, I believe he does need mental health treatment, and I think DDRF will be a good option for him.
All right. Then what the court will do, the court will deny the motion, alternate amend conditions to include DRF, and you'll be in custody for that. Taking consideration NIMAC number 718-075 and probation, if for some reason he's not accepted into that program, if you'll let the court know, and we'll have him brought back.
Yes, Your Honor. And I'll also keep an eye and calendar it as well. And if it's been too long without him being transferred, I can also give it to Sean as well.
All right. And Norma, can we give them a phantom date, please? And that's just for us to make sure that things are going the way they should be.
It's probably a little longer.
Mhm.
It's between 4 to 12 weeks.
Well, let's do this. Let's set it for 45 days just to make sure he hasn't fallen through in the process. And we'll do it as a phantom date and they'll be able to give us an update on the wait time.
Sure, sounds good, Judge.
I can do September 28th, Judge.
All right. So we'll come back on September 28th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Gordon, if for some reason you've already been transferred, then we won't have that date.
All right, sounds
All right. Is there anything else?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
nothing further from defense, Judge.
All right. Thank you.
Your Honor.
I just wanted to make sure I gave you that file. I was looking for it.
Yes.
It's just for sentencing.
All right. Thank you.
Morning, Judge. How are you?
Good morning. What's your client's name?
Hector Lopez.
Court is calling 2022 CR 10958D, State of Texas versus Hector Manuel Lopez Nahara. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Daniel Escobar for the state of Texas.
Orlando Wade for the defense.
And are you Mr. Lopez Nahara?
Yes.
Mr. Nahara, all of the documents I'm going to review with you are in English. Were these documents explained to you in Spanish?
Yes.
And counsel, do you speak the Spanish language?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you speak it fluently?
Yes, Your Honor, it was my first language.
And to the interpreter, if you could please raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully translate from English into Spanish and Spanish into English, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
And if you could state your name for the record.
Norma Nero.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor, and I did.
Yes.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Are there any applications in this case?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Nahara, did you review what's entitled True Bill of Indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Your Honor, we're proceeding on the lesser included offense of kidnapping.
Any objections?
No objections, Your Honor.
Did you understand your charge, or at least the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of kidnapping? That's a third-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
Mr. Nahara, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
Could you repeat the question, Your Honor?
Has anyone promised you anything other than your plea bargain agreement?
No.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
No.
Counsel, did you advise your client of the consequences of entering a plea in this cause number as it relates to any immigration consequences?
Yes, Your Honor, just for the court, so we're up a deal letter was ordered 6 months ago. That should have been done.
And was it completed?
I believe it was, Judge. And I also did explain to him that he's probably going to be deported with this type of conviction on his record.
All right. Well, you know, according to case law, they no longer let you say probably.
He
So,
will be deported.
all right, Mr. Nahara, did you have a chance to speak with an immigration attorney regarding your plea in this case?
Yes.
Did that attorney inform you of the possible consequences of entering a plea of guilty or no contest as it relates to your immigration status?
Yes.
That those consequences include deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States, or the denial of naturalization?
Yes.
Did you understand the consequences of entering a plea bargain agreement in this case as it relates to your immigration status?
Yes.
And knowing those consequences, do you still wish to enter into a plea in this cause?
How?
Knowing the consequences, and when I say consequences, I mean your immigration consequences of entering a plea in this offense of kidnapping, do you still wish to continue with the plea?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the document entitled plea bargain agreement with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of kidnapping. Punishments be assessed at 5 years in the prison. There are no applications. You are to admit that you acted as a party with Fraulein Guzman Velasquez, Eric Alexander Lopez Gonzalez, and Randy Lopez Benitez. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes,
And do you agree that in regards to this offense, you were acting in concert with Fraulein Guzman Velasquez, Eric Alexander Lopez Gonzalez, and Randy Lopez Benitez?
yes,
Do you understand that to be the plea?
yes,
Defense,
Yes, Your Honor.
state?
Yes, Judge.
Did you review the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in both places?
yes,
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand? Then to the offense of kidnapping, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
guilty,
State any evidence.
State offers State's Exhibit 1 and all attachments.
And no objections, Your Honor, for purposes of the plea.
All right, you may continue to confer. Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court is reviewing the same. After reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty of kidnapping. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will follow your agreement, sentence you to 5 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served. There's to be no contact with you. The court finds that you've admitted to acting in concert with Fraulein Guzman Velasquez, Eric Alexander Lopez Gonzalez, and Randy Lopez Benitez. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
yes,
All right, we can go off the record. You're going to have to make better decisions. You're not allowed to re-enter the United States. Is he here legally or no?
No.
The other thing, we'll go back on the record. As a part of the plea bargain agreement, you are not allowed to enter the United States illegally. Do you understand?
yes.
All right. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Send right in the middle, sir, and Michelle.
All right, we're here for sentencing. Court is calling 2022 CR 9994, State of Texas versus Curtis Odell Williams. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense?
Lindsay Shopping, Mr. Williams.
And are you Mr. Williams?
No.
All right, your attorney is listed as Mr. Bach. Do you have any objections to this attorney standing in?
No, ma'am.
All right. You entered a plea on April 3rd, and we're here for sentencing. According to the plea bargain agreement, your punishment is to be assessed at 2 years in the prison. Are both parties ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Williams, I appreciate you for showing up, knowing that you're going to be taken into custody. You'd be surprised how many people do not show up.
You took everything in me.
Oh, well, I'm glad the NU worked. All right, the court is finding you guilty as previously found by Judge Moore. I'm going to follow your agreement, sentence you to 2 years in the prison, give you credit for any time served, take in consideration NIMAG number 705915. Is there anything else from either side with regards to sentencing?
Nothing from defense, Your Honor.
Nothing from the state, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Sure. It is 705915.
I just wanted to get the court here that it was indicted. I have an indicted number, if you'd like to put that on the record.
All right, and what is the indicted number?
2023 CR 5249. Throwing out a dismissal.
You said 5249?
Yes, that's your.
All right, the court will take in consideration 2023 CR 5249, showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendants' Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. How old are you?
I'm 32.
All right, you're 32. Do not be the person at the prison who's the oldest person at the prison. I know you've heard me tell people that before, and people want to know how things are run here. And they say, ask the oldest person at the prison, and it's you, all right? All right, good luck to you. All right, where are we on this case?
Well, we have been in discussion stating the defense for several days, Judge. We thought that we would probably be able to resolve it in the way of a plea, but I don't think that that's going to happen at this.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, I need a jury trial date on Rogelio Sanchez. Mr. Sanchez, the court will not consider any plea bargain agreements in this case without good cause. Otherwise, you have to plea open to the court. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. All right, Ms. Ferguson. And are you all still proceeding on this as a capital murder?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
So I mean, it'd be a non-death capital, so just life without parole.
So there will be no need for a punishment. So this should be not as long because we don't have punishment. If you were found
Yes.
guilty. I always put the if in
I
there.
appreciate that. Give me
Mentally, I put the if in there.
encouragement. And
And as many cases, Mr. Cox says, you and Mr. Garahan have, we're going to have to give you all new little notebooks as they start tearing up.
They do. Well, I think mine's running out in December, so I'm already using the notes.